This is AP Stedham of AP and Kelly as we see it on the campus of Auburn University. Our very special guest, Jason Campbell, the radio analyst for the Auburn Football Network. And we have my partner, Doug Parrish.
Hey, good to be here with you guys, man. I'll tell you, man, I'm ready for a good game. Cal Berkeley against the Auburn Tigers. Let's get going, man. Let's make it happen.
Short season so far, but what can you tell us about the Auburn offense? We're so happy and excited to see the group of receivers.
Yeah, last year it was a total different story for us from a receiver standpoint. We didn't have the talent of a Cam Coleman or Perry Thompson, and you bring in Bryce Kane and Malcolm Simmons, who had a big game last week as well. But Lambert Smith is the guy that stirs the pot. You know, he's the transfer over from Penn State, the veteran that can help the young guys, come along. And last week was a big game for them too, because it doesn't matter who you're playing from the aspect when you're dealing with freshmen. It's all about them guys getting reps, getting their feet wet, and they got some nerves. But I was very impressed with the young receiver core last week, and it's going to help us in big games because we understand the opponent wasn't the same opponent we're going to be playing this week, but at least you get those guys the opportunity to build confidence.
Jason Campbell, you're a first-round draft pick. Mm-hmm. You obviously have seen a lot of secondaries. Talk to me a little bit about the leadership on the secondary side for Auburn.
Yeah, you're talking about Keontae Scott. He's actually a California kid.
Okay.
And, Keontae Scott, this is a big game for him, but he's the one that gets all the young guys going. Like, he's the one that's yelling, fussing, in the right way. Like, hey, make sure you're lined up and paying attention to details. Like, he wears his heart on his sleeve. He's very special in the punt return for us as well. Okay. Last year he led the SEC in punt return yardage. So, he's the guy, though, and the catalyst in the backfield. He's that corner that makes sure everybody else is aligned and doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Excellent.
Have you seen a difference in the short season, obviously, in Peyton Thorne as the quarterback?
Yeah, I saw last week the two deep throws to me, the two post routes. Both receivers never broke stride. So that tells me that his timing is a lot better this season. Last year he came in June. You wasn't here for the spring. You didn't get a chance to learn the offense as a whole. This year you had a whole season where you played, and then you had a whole off season to get ready with Cam Coleman, those guys coming in January. That helps. Lambert Smith and those guys coming in early enough for them to build chemistry is a huge deal, and you saw it this weekend. Also, he didn't have the guys in his face. He was able to stand back there and deliver a ball in a pretty good pocket.
Yeah, he delivered that ball all right. I think 3 of the 4 receivers got about 100 yards, each. So that's not too shabby, right? Hey, I know technology this season is going to be really interesting. You're going to have that two-way communication from the coach, in the press box, to the players. Right. How do you think that's going to pan out for Auburn?
Well, basically, it's the NFL coming to college, right? You think about it. We did that for years in the NFL, and it eliminates a lot of sign stealing. It eliminates that, but you have to, as a quarterback, some guys may have a wrist or something where the coach may say, if it's a long play, he may say, hey, look at number 4. But if it's a shorter play, then he gives them the call because he has up to 15 seconds. Once that play clock hits 15 seconds, communication shuts off. So, I expect them to continue for Auburn, it's easy right now because you're at home. Now, we'll see how much it helps us once we go on the road, and our first game's at Georgia, and it's really loud. And your quarterback has to step away from the huddle, put his hands over his ears, make sure you're hearing the communication. But you always got to be alert for 2 to 3 plays that you may not be able to hear the coach, but you go through that during the week to understand, okay, these are 2 or 3 plays we may get to if the headset goes out. So you have to prepare for the worst, but at the same time, it makes things that happen faster. It's easier communication, and for some quarterbacks, they may like it because the coach can't mess with them once they get past 15 seconds.
Jason, I think two of the benefactors of having the wide receiver besides Peyton Thorne, the quarterback, is Jaquez Hunter and Rivaldo Fairweather, the tight end.
Yeah, Jaquez is, he's still the bell cow as the offensive running back. Last week he only had 4 carries. That's to save him for the rest of the season. You don't want to use him up when you don't have to, but he is the guy that the offense goes through. And then you talk about, Fairweather. He didn't have a lot of catches last week, but he still was involved in the game plan. Had the one big drop, but Fairweather is still a guy that's over the middle because these receivers are going to start getting a lot of attention. And once they start getting a lot of attention, you start getting double coverage. And once you start getting double coverage, that creates one-on-one matchups with the safeties and linebackers, which is what Fairweather is really good at, is winning his one-on-one battles.
Yeah, I was thinking about head coach and Hugh Freeze, and thinking about how level-headed do you have to be to come into a game like this, because they won by so much, you know, from last game. It's easy to get the big head. And how does he keep the team in balance?
Well, last week, let's just be honest, it's kind of like your preseason game, right?
Yeah.
To get you warmed up for the regular season. Your real season actually starts today.
Yeah.
You know, you're going against an ACC opponent. Cal first 5 games is either in Central or Eastern time zone. So, yeah, they're getting acclimated really, really quick. But you do know this is a good football team.
Right.
You know, they had 54 players, something like that played on this team a year ago.
A lot of
returning players. So when you got that in a transfer portal crazy world, chemistry is everything.
Absolutely.
And so to me, I expect it to be a hard-fought game today. You know, I don't think Auburn's going to walk out there and think it's going to be anything close to last week. Right. And even in the passing game, the way their safeties play and their corners play, you got to be ready to hit the intermediate passing game today.
Yes.
You know, not think so much over the top, because they don't really give up much over the top.
There you go.
It was a tight one last year. How's the kicking game for Auburn, the punt return, the kickoff return, and the punter?
Well, you know, Townsend McGoo has been our guy, you know, right now. McPherson's been out and everything, but we were grateful to get Towns, a local kid here in Auburn, can kick a 65-yarder. You know, we've seen him kick one in the spring, 65, and made it. So kid has a really good leg. But overall, though, our special teams has kind of been a really good catalyst for us. You know, in the kicking game right now, you don't really see a lot of teams taking balls out of the end zone for the most part. There's a lot of touchbacks because these guys are kicking the ball so far into the end zone. But at the same time, you can win or lose a game in these close ones on special teams, punt block or anything like that. So be ready for everything. Fake field goals. You just got to be alert early in the season because there's not a lot of film.
Absolutely.
This is AP Stedham of AP and Kelly as we see it, and my partner Doug Parrish of
Football Organically.
We want to thank Jason Campbell, the former Auburn legend. He's with the Auburn Football Network as a radio analyst. And watch our videos on our Facebook pages, and we really appreciate it, Jason. Have a great ball game.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care.